As usual, I'm doing all this in one take, so hopefully it makes sense. Your oil filter's there, mounted on top of the cooler. It's a lot tighter in mine, purely because of the AirTech radiator. Space is really limited. So basically your oil filter's there. Obviously your sump bung is just at the back there. I've just put some engine flush in the car. I'm going to start it up and let it run for a bit, and then wiggle that oil filter out. To make life easier, ideally you need one of them. Oil filter wrench, fully adjustable, so they'll fit on loads and loads of different cars. Just clamp it round. You only need to loosen it off and then you can take it off by hand. Just obviously bear in mind, once you start getting your hands in under there, especially where that's got to come out from, everything is red hot. You want the oil warm, so you're taking it out while the oil's warm. Just obviously remember where that cooler is, everything's really, really hot. So just be careful. Put some gloves on as well. When doing an oil change, I always use Win's engine flush. Used it for years, and if you're an old boy like me, you'll remember the famous Win Starty Bastard videos from back in the day. Yeah, basically got that in, full can, straight in. I'm going to leave the engine running while I have a brew, and then get the oil drained, put fresh oil in and new oil filter. You fit in the standard part, so that's genuine Ford oil filter. Always swap the actual sump bung and then the standard oil. Got these from Chris at Wayside Performance. We're not supported or sponsored, or nobody pays us to say that we're using their parts. Just want to get that out there. The reason why we do these clips is to try and help you guys when it comes to swapping the parts and avoid the heavy service charges. This is going to be nigh on impossible for me to show you while trying to hold my phone and do it at the same time. So basically what's what, there's a 13mm bolt under there I need to undo, drop the oil. All I do is just literally wind the sump bung out and let it all go. I'm not putting that sump bung back in. And then I've got another smaller tray I'm going to put here to catch everything that drops out of that oil filter. I'll get it out, show you what's what, and then we'll see what we can do to actually show you where everything goes. That container underneath to collect it all. Luckily we've got tip next door, so I can just take it straight for disposal next door. But there's sump bung just gone straight in there. There's no point messing about. Just drop the sump bung, let it all drain out. While you're doing that, it's worth pulling the dipstick just out of the holder and taking the filler cap off, purely so you can make sure there's no vacuum, no issues where it won't let it all drain out. I know that sounds daft, but it does work really well. Once you start to undo that oil filler, what am I on about? Oil filter that's just in the middle of that shot, oil will start to drip out, so just be ready with some form of container for catching it. Obviously the bigger you can get, the better. Yeah, it's just loosened off there. I'm gonna keep undoing that and then angle it off the best I can so oil doesn't go everywhere. That's the old one removed. Basically the bit I'm trying to explain is up there. So it's located just there on them threads, more or less in the middle of the shot. But because of the oversized radiator, and I believe it's an aircon pipe, trying to get it down through that gap is difficult. That's the only really difficult part. Obviously make sure you've got gloves on, because without saying, because it gets red hot under there. And once you've managed to get it past them pipes, it should be a lot easier on the standard one. Obviously there's AirTech everywhere on this. It's once you've got it past them pipes, it's fairly straightforward. In the new oil filter, you don't want to go in dry. I know that sounds a bit, but yeah, you don't put that on dry. Just get a little bit of oil off this one here that's come off and wet the seal. Don't need to be soaking, just make sure that that's lubricated, and all I'm doing is just taking a bit of oil off there. It's not going to hurt anything, it's just making sure that that seal's nice and slippy, so it tightens up and seals nicely. And then I'll get that back up in there and dropped on. The new filter's in. Obviously the mating face where the oil filter goes in, that was all wiped before it was fitted, and it's only hand tight. You don't need any tools at all to get that tightened up, just hand tight. Give everything a wipe round before you leave the area. Don't want to leave any oil deposits anywhere. It's no doubt cause a bit of a smell. So yeah, make sure all that's nice and clean. Give it a final check, make sure that's tight, and that's done. It's these two pipes, these two there, and then on this one, can't quite show you, there's also what I believe is an aircon pipe, quite a stiff aircon pipe. So space is tight. On a standard radiator there's a little bit more room, still difficult, but there is just a little bit more room. Just going to let that sump bung just drip a little bit more. I'll give that a wipe and then put the new sump bung in. Just drop the 13mm spanner on there so you can see whereabouts the sump plug is. When you come to tighten it up, you're not looking to set any records, just nip it up. It's nipping up against a rubber seal anyway. So just nice and tight, well, I'll say nice and tight, hand tight, that's plenty. Just need to put some oil in it, get that other car back in here, and I'm en route. When you come to put your oil in, do yourself a favour, get a funnel, put a cloth around it just in case. I like to leave the dipstick out just so the air's got somewhere to go, because obviously you've put the sump bung back in, the oil filter's gone back in. Just gives the air somewhere to escape. Drop some in, keep checking it on the dipstick, do a few miles and then check the oil again if need be, top up. That's basically it. If there's anything I can help you with, I'll do my best. Leave comments below and we'll take it from there. Catch you guys later.